The day I turned the tables on Mr. Perfect. It started with a letter. Not an email, not a text, an actual envelope taped to my front door in bold red ink. Urgent HOA violation. I almost laughed. My front yard wasn't perfect, sure, but a violation for what? Breathing? I tore it open, coffee in one hand, and read. You have 72 hours to remove the unapproved structure in your backyard or face a $1,000 fine. Unapproved structure? I stared out the window. There it was, the treehouse I built for my daughter last summer. A small wooden fort tucked into an old oak tree, painted bright blue with a little slide. She lived in it during the summer, and now apparently it was a crime. At the bottom of the letter was a signature I knew all too well. Bradley Whitman, HOA president. Bradley, Mr. Perfect. The guy with the manicured lawn, a smile that never reached his eyes, and a rule book so thick he probably slept with it under his pillow. He once cited a neighbor for having Christmas lights up on December 26th. I grabbed my phone and called. Bradley, I said calmly, what's this about my treehouse? It's an unapproved structure, he replied smoothly. And per HOA regulations, all exterior structures must. I cut him off. Bradley, it's a treehouse for my kid, not a nightclub. Rules are rules, he chirped. You've got 72 hours. Click. I stood there, fuming. That treehouse wasn't going anywhere. Not in 72 hours, not ever. So, I did what any sane person would do. I grabbed the HOA bylaws and started reading. And guess what? Nowhere did it say anything about treehouses. It said sheds, garages, pergolas, but a treehouse? Not a word. Bradley wasn't enforcing rules. He was enforcing control. So I hatched a plan. Day 2. I sent Bradley a polite email. Per my reading of the HOA bylaws, the treehouse does not violate any section. Please confirm in writing. He replied in 10 minutes. Remove it or be fined. No explanation, no rule cited. Fine. If Bradley wanted a fight, he'd get one. Day 3. I installed 4 security cameras around the treehouse in my backyard. Signs went up. Smile, you're on camera. Then I started digging deeper. County records, HOA minutes, property maps, the whole 9 yards. And then I found it. The oak tree? It wasn't even on HOA managed property. The tree and the ground it grew from was in a tiny 12 by 12 strip of land that technically didn't belong to the HOA, a leftover easement from when the neighborhood was built, legally outside their jurisdiction. Bradley didn't know, but I did. Day 4. Showdown. 72 hours were up. I was in my backyard sipping lemonade when Bradley strutted over in his khakis and polo, clipboard in hand. Behind him, 2 other board members and a landscaper with a chainsaw. He smiled that fake smile. Afternoon, we're here to remove the structure. I grinned. Afternoon, Bradley. You're about to trespass. His smile faltered. Excuse me? This treehouse, I said, tapping the trunk, isn't on HOA property. It's on private easement land excluded from HOA authority. Here are the county records to prove it. I handed him the papers. He skimmed them. His ears turned pink. You can't, he started. Oh, I can, I said. And by the way, you just threatened to destroy private property on camera. I pointed to the blinking red lights above us. Smile, Bradley. This will look great in court. The landscaper stepped back so fast he nearly tripped over the chainsaw. The other board members whispered like kids in detention. Bradley's jaw clenched. We'll review this, he muttered before storming off. I didn't just keep the treehouse. I kept my peace. 2 days later, an email went out to the whole community. After review, the HOA has determined the treehouse in question is compliant with regulations. Translation, Bradley lost. But here's the best part. Neighbors started coming over. Turns out, Bradley had bullied half the street for years. Now, everyone wanted to know how I stood up to him. So I told them, know the rules better than the guy enforcing them. And Bradley? He still waves when he passes my house, but his smile looks a lot less perfect now. If you enjoyed watching Mr. Perfect crash and burn, hit that like button. Tell me, what would you have done? And don't forget to subscribe for more HOA drama, because something tells me Bradley isn't done yet.